Don't talk to people who act like your burdens are a huge inconvenience to them, because we are here in this human life to be a little bit of a burden to other people. Like, that's part of being alive. That's what community care is. Community care means showing up and doing something, even if you don't really want to do it, because it matters, because it's important, because people deserve the help. Hey friends, welcome back to the Neurodivergent Creative. Today we are going to talk about allowing yourself to have nice things. And it's going to be a hard topic for a lot of us, especially anybody who is an eldest daughter, a recovering people pleaser, even a not recovering people pleaser. It's probably going to hit really hard if you're not even practicing these kind of boundaries and things. First, a story about the first time I realized I needed glasses. So I was like 8 or 9, and I was sitting at the dinner table in my childhood home. And from like the table, we had like a large like doorway into the kitchen. So it didn't have an actual door. It was just sort of like there were some walls here, but it was mostly open. And so I could see into the kitchen from where I was sitting at the dining table. And one of my parents asked me what time it was. And I was looking and I could not tell what time it was. And I was like, I think it's, I don't know. And they both like looked at each other and they were like, oh, this kid needs glasses. So we then went shopping for glasses. We went and got me an eye exam. And I was in 4th grade and I feel like they were already like separated at that point. But I definitely remember like it was a conversation between the two of them. So either that happened and it doesn't matter. We don't need all these details. So I get the eye exam. We go to the glasses place. I don't know. And I was looking at all the glasses like in these little display cases. And I was looking, remember, I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I was looking at the price tags and I was freaking out because they were like $200. And I remember going up to my dad and being like, these are really expensive. And he's like, well, we have insurance. And I didn't know what insurance was because I was a 4th grader. So I was like, okay. But I do remember I felt so mortified that there was a problem with me that required a several $100 investment from my parents to fix. Also, my braces cost like $4,000, but these glasses are like the sticking point. This is like a formative core memory for me where I felt so ashamed of needing care that cost money. That does not organically happen to a 4th grader. I had to learn that somewhere. So I assume that there was a lot of like ongoing just mentioning of how expensive stuff was. Groceries are expensive, your clothes and your shoes are expensive, school supplies are expensive. So I had internalized like being expensive is fucking bad. Like this is a bad thing I have done. But also I couldn't help it because it was my eyesight. Like I can't mind over matter my eyesight. So I'm just sitting here feeling super ashamed that I'm costing my parents money. Fast forward, I'm not great at keeping myself in glasses, or healthcare. I feel really frustrated when I have to like pay for things that are expensive. So like a dental cleaning, I'm like, great, if it's free, totally. But if I have cavities and like now I have to pay for a drill-in and a fill-in, that is not a phrase I should have ever said. It's fine. Like now I have to budget for fillings and stuff. I'm like, then I feel the shame again. I'm like, I should have brushed and flossed more. I should have done this, regardless of the fact that like I didn't get my first cavity until my 30s. And sometimes shit just happens. And also, as I mentioned last episode, I had an eating disorder. So it makes sense that I had some cavities. Like I was not nourishing my body well for a good 5 to 10 years. It wasn't very good. So it is fine. It is morally neutral that I had cavities. It is morally neutral that I have bad eyesight. These do not make me a bad person. These should not bring me shame, but they bring me shame because they cost money. And I have the little piece of that scrupulosity OCD that lingers is you are living your best, most moral life if you don't cost a lot of money. So my partner takes me out for dinner and I'm like, we could have gone out to lunch. It would have been cheaper. And he's like, what are you talking about? We wanted dinner. It's fine. I've had to borrow money from my roommates for various things. because like my finances took a little shit when I had some depression for a year and a half. And like, I have felt guilty about that, about like, I can't contribute as much financially to our bills. And I don't stop to consider the fact that like, I do all of our meal planning and like grocery shopping. And I make sure that like our household functions in a cohesive way. And that's worth a lot. That's a great support that I give to my household. But because I'm not financially contributing, I feel like my input doesn't matter as much. And I know that this is fake nonsense. I just flat out understand that intellectually. But emotionally, the shame, it lingers, right? And the last time I had an eye exam and like bought myself some truly fresh new glasses was like heading into 2020. I bought my red glasses that feature in like my past podcasts. So you can go back and look at the glasses if you want. But eventually those broke. And so I started using older glasses instead. So I did actually buy some new glasses in the middle there, but they were the same prescription. And I didn't get any like fancy bells and whistles. I was like, no, I just need like plain lenses. You don't need blue light protection. I don't need sunglasses. Like just give me like the super most basic things. And I got a couple of like fashion pairs and they were really cute. But this last go round, I had an eye exam last month and I got these and my prescription changed. So I needed new glasses and I was just going to get like the most basic thing again, but I was on FaceTime with my sibling at the time and they were like, why don't you get some UV protection or some blue light protection on your lenses? Like you stare at the computer all day. And literally my first thought is, I don't deserve that. I don't deserve blue light filtering glasses because that costs more money. To which they responded, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? Like it shouldn't be a problem to invest in something that will take better care of me and my body and my eyesight. Like it's better to not have eye strain and it's better to, these are actually transitions. So when I go outside, they turn into pink tinted sunglasses. And literally the first time I went outside and that happened, I thought I was like being haunted because like the light changed and it felt like it was like the eclipse. The total eclipse happened like right over Ohio last year. And so like I actually got to fucking witness the eclipse and it was amazing. And I remember the light changing in this really eerie way. Like it was clearly daytime. I could see stuff, but the light was a weird, eerie quality. And so that happened with these. And I went outside and I was like looking up at the sky. I'm trying to figure out like, is something in front of the sun right now? No, silly. You got sunglasses. And so now every single time I go outside, so first of all, when I'm sitting at my computer, the blue light is apparently being filtered. And then when I go outside, the sunlight is being filtered and I don't have to squint and strain my eyes. And I'm like, wow. Like immediately upon actually buying these things for myself and using them, I understood this is going to reduce a lot of strain over the next 5 years of having these glasses, probably less time than that. Glasses break. Also, I have the hiccups. I'm sorry. So like once I had them in hand, I was like, this was a good investment. I am glad that I got Transitions sunglasses. I am glad that I got blue light blocking eyeglasses for work. I am glad that I got these things. But the action of actually doing them was rough. I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, like 2 pairs of glasses. I had some like 40% off code from the website where I bought them. I spent like $215 on 2 pairs of glasses. Grand scheme of life, that is not a lot of money. Grand scheme of me making a purchase for my own self that doesn't benefit anybody else around me, that was nauseating. But I did it. And I think, yes. Okay. So here's like this cool, like manifesting moment that I had. So, I have a hard time going through my mail because I don't know, sometimes the mail is useless and sometimes the mail is important. And I just don't like the odds and it's annoying. So my mail kind of piles up for a couple weeks and then I just do like a mail pile day and I go through all the mail and I sort it out and I throw it away and I deal with the things that need dealing with. And I did this, a couple weeks back, a month back, doesn't matter, Caitlin. So I went through my mail pile. First of all, I found a royalty check that I had already opened and was like, I'll cash that later. And I set it aside, lost that for a month or two. And also I had a rebate check from my health insurance for like $400. So between like those two checks, I'm now up about $430. Royalties were like $45 and the rebate was like a little under $300 or $400. So I end up with about $430. Took my car in for an oil change. I ended up needing some fluid flush and replace type shit. And that cost about $215. And I was like, oh, I hate this, but it's for my car and I want my car to operate, right? You can't cheap out on car maintenance because then like your car's going to break down. You don't want that. I don't want to have to buy a new car. So what I will do is pay a car payment to get my fluids checked or whatever. So I got like the premium oil change so that I can go like 10,000 miles instead of 3,000, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. So I got my oil change. I got the coolant flush, which was time consuming. But that was about $215. And then these glasses were $215. And I was like, oh, so like literally those two checks that I just put into my bank account covered these two things that I needed to invest in for my car's well-being and my own eyeball well-being. And like, that's just good looking out by the universe, because if I hadn't had that like boost of like, hey, you're covered for this, go ahead and do it. You're not obligated to save this or pay it forward or like do anything. You can take care of your needs. And that was what I did with that money, is I took care of my needs. And do I feel a little bit guilty that I didn't put that entire $400 and whatever toward a credit card? Yes. But do I also have adorable hot pink glasses that turn into sunglasses? Yes. And a car that runs? Yes. So all of this to say, invest in yourself, please. Like, you are not obligated to do something the absolute cheapest you can or the most conveniently that you can. You know, like asking somebody for help and they're like, what do you need help with? And you're like, anything's fine. I mean, you could just shoot me $20 and that'll help me out. When like really what you need is somebody to come over and help you pack and like put your shit in the car so that you can move, you know, like ask for what you need. Be a little bit of a burden. We're in this thing where we're like, I don't want to be a burden to anybody, but like, that is what friendship is. And that is what community is. Like, we should be a little bit burdensome to the people who care about us, because that's how we build that care. Like, that's how we build relationships, is showing up for each other. So like, I built a little more trust with myself by investing in the good glasses and the good oil change and not just kicking my car maintenance can down the road until like it's an emergency. You are allowed to do stuff before it's an emergency. That's one that I really need to work on, because I'm the type of person who like, I don't get gas until the little indicator light is on, usually. No, actually, I've worked on that. Now I'm usually able to fill up my gas tank when I'm at like a quarter tank, but I still sometimes run it all the way down to that fuel indicator where it's like, hey, you're literally going to be stranded on the side of the highway if you don't stop and get some gas. And I have done that with food, right? Like, I wait until I am absolutely ravenous and starving before I eat something. You are allowed to eat a snack the first time you feel a little bit hungry. I will sit here and try and get stuff done until my bladder is bursting. And I'm like, I have to pee right now or else I will pee my pants. You are allowed to pee before it's an emergency. I rarely charge my phone until it's down in those low power, I'll hit 20% and I'm like, just go on low power mode. I just keep watching videos, just keep laughing up my Smosh content. And then it's like 10% and it's like, you good, buddy? And I'm like, yep. And then when it gets down to like 2 or 3%, 1% sometimes, if I'm living on the edge, then I go plug it in. What the fuck? Why am I doing this? That's ridiculous. We got to do stuff before it becomes an emergency. Like, we really need to tell ourselves, and I know that some of you are going to relate to this. If you're watching this and you're like, wow, no, I always take care of myself in advance. Good for you. Please tell me all of your secrets. But for those of us who grew up feeling like an inconvenience and a burden, and that was like the worst thing we could be, was somebody who needed to ask for help. It's hard. It's hard to re-enter the world of having needs and not feeling shame for those. my father-in-law from my first marriage once described me as unobtrusive. And I thought that was like the greatest compliment I had ever received. I was like, really? I don't bother you? Oh my God. I'm so glad that I don't bother you. Genuinely, I was so glad that I don't bother him. And now I'm like just talking my face off. Like on the weekends, sometimes I don't take my ADHD meds. And so my brain's just pinging around. It's free ranging. Like I see a sign and I'm like, oh, look at that sign. Oh, that reminds me about this. Oh, we should also do this. I forgot about that. Can you look this up right now? Can you see if this store is open right this minute so that we can go there? And my partner's just like, okie dokie. And then I say something like, are you sure you want to be with me forever? Like, am I not really annoying? And he's like, no, like you're just you. And the permission to just not have to shut up and be as small as possible is gorgeous. And it is nervous system regulating. Like I come from a background of a lot of trauma. I come from a place of feeling unwanted and like unappreciated if I did anything that required somebody to come to my aid, right? Like I was such an inconvenience to my mother, and that fucks you up pretty good. Like you literally carried me in your body, you birthed me, and then like you got mad at me for existing. That's fucked up, man. So like, yeah, I feel a little bit weird when I have needs. And I feel like I mentioned, my roommates have like loaned me money. They're also not worried about how fast I pay that back. Like, my one roommate is like, please pay off your credit cards first. Like my loan to you is interest free. Like, please prioritize the ones that are like actually growing and like causing problems. And I'm like, that's crazy. Because my mom wouldn't do that. First of all, my mom probably wouldn't loan me money in the first place. But she would definitely like have a schedule and be like, and if you don't pay me back, I'll sue you or something. Like I literally wouldn't put it past her to like take me to small claims court if I missed a single payment in my mother-daughter loan payment plan, which is one reason why I don't talk to my mother, because she just like, she's not interested in like the joyful burden of a vulnerable and real connection with someone. So it's easier for me to just not try and navigate that, because God knows like what's an acceptable thing to ask for versus what's the thing that's going to get me labeled like a selfish, manipulative like user. Because I'm not that. Like I know that I'm not that because I will run myself into the ground trying to do something before I ask for help. And that's rough and it sucks. So buy yourself the nice glasses, get yourself a little treat because you deserve it. And don't talk to people who act like your burdens are a huge inconvenience to them, because we are here in this human life to be a little bit of a burden to other people. Like that's part of being alive. That's what community care is. Community care means showing up and doing something, even if you don't really want to do it, because it matters, because it's important, because people deserve the help. It's just that simple. I think it's that simple. Great. So I'm going to leave you here. Let me know in the comments if anything here like sparked a bigger thought or a realization. I would love to go a little bit more in depth on this and explore more like kind of hang-ups that we have about fully expressing our human needs, because that's my ideal future, is one where we are not ashamed of having needs and asking for help. That's the future that we are creating together. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what else you want me to talk about, and I'll be back next week. Bye.
Don't change your approach and tell you a joke to lighten your load and help you along, or sing you a song. Do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.